think it was just a freak accident. The only person I'm mad at is the dust devil.
Tonight we're hearing from the 9-year-old who was blown away in a bounce house. And the CBS2 News team is here. We begin with that survival story. The bounce house was blown onto the highway, and CBS2's Tina Patel is live in Adelanto, where she spoke with that brave little boy. Tina.
Yeah, Pat, he was the only one inside at the time when the wind came, took it over a fence like this onto the highway. He is okay, but now his family wants to warn others about how dangerous these inflatables can be. How did 9-year-old Seth Olson survive being blown away in a bounce house onto a busy highway? He doesn't know. He can't remember.
On the first tumble, over that gate right over there, I blacked out. And then after, the only thing I can remember is that I woke up and then I saw my mom pulling up.
Seth had been at a Mother's Day party at his neighbor's house when a strong wind gust picked up the inflatable and blew it over the fence.
The tornado just came in and the jumper went away, and then it went in the air. My uncle tried to grab it, but it was too heavy and it went away.
Kimberly's family tells me they had rented the bounce house from some people down the street who had set it up for them and put stakes in the ground to keep it in place. They admit they didn't think to ask if the bounce house was licensed or insured. Seth's grandmother says someone had warned her about bounce houses years ago.
And he goes, if you get one, you got to have some insurance because it could blow away. This was 2 years ago she told me this. And then it happened.
She says Seth is lucky he didn't get hit by a car when he fell onto the highway and that he ended up with only bumps and bruises. But now she wants to warn other parents and grandparents about bounce houses.
They should be banned, I'm telling you, because this is a very dangerous thing. It's not fun no more. It's not fun no more.
Seth says he won't get in one again.
No. I don't recommend it.
A tough kid. Now, there are no national safety standards when it comes to bounce houses, but most manufacturers say they should not be used if the winds are more than 20 miles an hour. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Tina. Caught on video, a boat fire in Redondo Beach. Fishermen who were nearby say it happened this morning, and 2 men were on board. The fishermen say they threw the boaters life preserves and helped them get to safety. Lifeguards and fire officials then responded and put out the fire. Investigators may be on the hunt for a gunman after a car crashed down a cliff. CBS 2's Stacey Butler is live at Lake Elsinore with more on this mystery. Stacey.
Pat, it happened all right here behind me. A driver careened off of this road over a cliff. Now, witnesses say that he was driving a truck. He just lost control and ended up in a ravine. Take a look at this video. You can see crews trying to save that driver. They're performing CPR on him. Now, we even saw out here some fire crews. They hiked down that ravine about 40 feet. They were trying to make sure that that accident didn't cause any flames. This is a very dangerous area for fires. Now, here's the catch. After this guy was taken to the hospital, witnesses say that they heard that the driver had been shot and that's why he crashed. Now, sheriffs will only say that they were investigating a shooting in this area, not a collision. Neighbors I spoke with suspect that this was a shooting and it was a case of road rage.
In the morning, it gets compacted, going from 3 to 2 lanes. So you notice a lot with people cut each other off and trying to fly down here when it's 50, going 75.
Yeah, sheriff's being really tight-lipped about this case. They won't say that they are looking for a shooter, only that they're still investigating. If you have any information about this accident, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department would like to hear from you. Pat, back to you.
All right, thank you, Stacey. A Fullerton man faced a judge today in downtown L.A. as he's accused of stalking Rihanna. Prosecutors say on Wednesday, Eduardo Leon broke into her Hollywood Hills home and spent 12 hours inside until the singer's assistant found him. Rihanna was still in New York after the Met Gala. Leon faces charges including stalking, burglary, vandalism, and resisting arrest, and he could spend up to 6 years in prison. Now, the royal wedding is just days away, and tonight the father of the bride is stealing the focus. Will he skip his daughter's wedding? Well, CBS 2's Elsa Ramon is here with a new twist in this royal drama, Elsa.
Well, I hope everything works out. The last thing you want is a bride worrying about anything but her beautiful day a few days before the event. But Markle's dad tells TMZ he suffered a heart attack 6 days ago and is having heart trouble again due to all the drama being stirred up by Meghan's half-sister. But he also said he didn't want to cause the couple any embarrassment. And tonight his daughter is said to be upset at the thought he won't walk her down the aisle. Will he or won't he? One of London's most popular newspapers, the Daily Mail, reports tonight Meghan Markle is pleading with her father, Thomas, to walk her down the aisle when she weds Prince Harry this Saturday. Friends of the Southern California native told the Daily Mail this is not what she wants. She obviously wants her dad there, and the idea of contemplating him not being there now is not something that she wants to have to do. She goes on to say he is clearly feeling under immense pressure. The concern for him is real and genuine.
Any reaction to your ex-husband apparently staging photos for the paparazzi?
Today, Markle's mother, Doria Ragland, wouldn't comment about if she will walk her daughter down the aisle instead, but Ragland expressed her excitement for the upcoming nuptials.
Are you excited about going to London, ma'am?
The controversy involves pictures of Mr. Markle, which were published earlier this month in a number of newspapers showing him in a series of wedding-related activities that he now admits he set up with a photo service. Now, days before the big day, Mr. Markle told TMZ that he is, quote, hoping to avoid any embarrassment to Meghan and the royal family. But Samantha Markle, Mrs. Markle's half-sister from her father's first marriage, has claimed on the London talk show Loose Women she is to blame for the photographs.
It was my suggestion that to benefit him and to benefit the royal family, that everyone look good and that they depict you as you are.
Earlier today, Kensington Palace released a statement saying, this is a deeply personal moment for Mrs. Markle in the days before her wedding. She and Prince Harry ask again for understanding and respect to be extended to Mr. Markle in this difficult situation. Prince Charles could also walk his future daughter-in-law down the aisle, but so far no word on if that is going to happen. Pat, back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Elsa. And please stay with CBS2 for royal wedding coverage. Our Crystal Cruz is reporting from London this week ahead of the big day on Saturday. Now, First Lady Melania Trump will remain at Walter Reed Hospital for the rest of the week after a kidney procedure. Her office says she had a successful embolization procedure to treat a benign kidney condition. Doctors say the procedure is used to cut the blood supply to a growth so it shrinks. She is expected to make a full recovery. A massive and deadly protest broke out in Gaza over the U.S. Embassy in Israel opening in Jerusalem. CBS2 political reporter Dave Bryan is in the newsroom with more on this. Dave.
Pat, as you indicated, it was a day of protest and death in Gaza, where about 40,000 Palestinians turned out to protest the U.S. Embassy moving to Jerusalem, nearly 60 of whom were killed by Israeli gunfire. While a few miles away across the border, there were celebrations and joy over the new embassy opening. To the leaders of Israel, this was a historic moment, American recognition that Jerusalem is the true capital of the country, and opening the U.S. Embassy there to prove it is a giant step forward to international recognition.
President Trump, by recognizing history, you have made history.
President Trump participated too with a video message and sent a delegation led by his daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner to join the celebration.
While presidents before him have backed down from their pledge, this president delivered.
But just across the border with Gaza, tens of thousands of protesters turned out to demonstrate against the U.S. Embassy's new home in Jerusalem. Armed with rocks they threw over the border wall into Israel. Israeli soldiers dropping tear gas canisters from drones. The Israelis used live ammunition. There were plenty of casualties who were carried back from the fence, many of them with gunshot wounds in a scene of total chaos. Outside the Israeli consulate in L.A., a small group of protesters gathered to peacefully protest the opening of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem.
The U.S., as the closest ally of Israel, should be in a position to pressure Israel in a time like this to stop the illegal slaughter of innocent civilians.
The move is a provocation, a slap in the face to all colonized Palestinians.
The chasm between the protesters and those who celebrate the embassy move has never seemed to be larger.
This is a moment in history that will never be forgotten.
Now, tomorrow, in what promises to be a lively and heated debate, the UN Security Council will discuss the violence along the Israeli-Gaza border on the deadliest day in Gaza since the cross-border war. That was in 2014. Pat, back to you.
Thank you for that, Dave. Now, police say they rescued 10 children from a Northern California home and accused the father of torture and abuse. That suspect, Jonathan Allen of Fairfield, was in court today. Officers say the children had burns, bruises, and were shot with a pellet gun. Police also say the inside of the home was filthy and conditions were unsafe when the children were rescued about a month and a half ago. Their mother was arrested on child neglect charges, but she denies the allegations and says the children were not abused and only have bumps and scratches. A robbery ends with violence. The hunt is on tonight for 3 men who brutally attacked a store owner in Montebello. And CBS2's Rachel Kim is live from the scene. Rachel.
Well, Pat, the attempted robbery and shooting happened at the Cigarettes for Less tobacco shop behind me. Right now, Montebello police detectives are looking through security video from this shop and from the shopping center to see if it can help identify the suspects. Around 2 p.m., 3 men in their early 20s wearing dark clothing went into the shop and tried to rob the owner. They ended up shooting the owner once in the torso and once in the leg before taking off. But Montebello police detectives say the owner had a gun of his own and managed to shoot at the suspects. It's not clear, however, if the suspects were hit. Now, police believe they got into a light-colored sedan and got away westbound on Whittier Boulevard. The shop owner was treated here at the scene, then taken to the hospital for treatment. The owner of the restaurant next door can't believe how brazen these suspects were.
Oh, they got some guts. They got some guts of doing something like this during the day. My incident happened at 12 o'clock in the morning. This is bright daylight when there is, especially about an hour, or actually today's what, Monday? Well, the kids were out from the high school. The high school is right up the street. Here we have customers coming in and going. So it's not only our safety, it's safety of the public.
Anyone who can help identify those 3 suspects is asked to call Montebello police. Pat, back to you in the studio.
Do you know I'm a Muslim?
Yeah, I do.
What's your problem with that?
I don't like it. How's that?
Why?
I don't like that because I don't like your religion and it says to kill me and I don't want to be killed by you. How's that?
Are you scared of me?
Many people are accusing a man of being racist after a bitter confrontation at a coffee bean and tea leaf shop in Riverside. He got into a religious argument with a woman who was wearing a burqa. Other customers yelled at the man to get out.
The staff here tried to get him out, right away. This was clearly such an racist attack.
The manager at the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf refused to serve the man because of what she called his racist and disruptive behavior. The new technology in vehicles could be making you vulnerable to a deadly danger in your garage. CBS 2's Jeff Nguyen is live at Eagle Rock with a warning about keyless vehicles. Jeff.
Pat, if you drive down any road, you will likely run across a car with one of these. It's a fob for keyless entry. Well, now a new report says that this is being linked to a growing number of cases involving a silent killer. As a working mother, Miriam Terosian says she has walked away from her Toyota Prius without turning off the engine.
I mean, it could be a lot of things, long days or just your mind somewhere else, maybe.
That type of mistake has had tragic consequences. A recent New York Times report found more than 24 people have been killed by carbon monoxide. The cases involve engines left running in a garage with cars that have keyless entry. It's a popular design in which a simple push button turns the car on and off when a key fob is nearby. The Times reports regulations have been proposed but never enacted. Doug Shoup with the Auto Club of Southern California has some simple tips.
Something like a simple note inside your vehicle or right outside of the door to your home in the garage.
Some newer cars will turn off if they've idled for too long, while others have an alert feature.
If you have the fob in your hand and then you get out of the vehicle and close the door, you're going to get that alert to remind you the car is still on.
Miriam Terosian says hybrids like hers are confusing because the engine might not be running when she first parks if the batteries aren't low.
I forget because it gets really quiet when it's on off mode.
Firefighters say a good way to protect yourself from carbon monoxide poisoning is to have one of these. It's a carbon monoxide alarm mounted on your garage. Pat?
All right, good advice. Thank you, Jeff. An emotional vigil tonight in South LA after a 15-year-old was shot and killed on Mother's Day. It happened early yesterday morning near Manchester and Grand Avenue. Police say at least 2 suspects pulled up and started shooting. 2 other boys were also shot. The suspects have not been identified. A major U.S. Supreme Court ruling could open the door for legalized sports betting all across the country. CBS 2's Tom Wade is live outside Staples Center with what it could mean for California. Tom.
Hi there, Pat. Yeah, we talked to fans out here tonight who said they think it makes sense probably to legalize sports betting because it's already going on. But in order for it to happen in California, the state still has to amend its constitution.
It's a base hit.
Putting money on your favorite team may soon be legal in California. The Supreme Court struck down a 1992 federal law that barred states from authorizing sports gambling.
Ultimately, I mean, the one thing that it does for the state of California is it offers a new source of revenue.
Professor Daniel Durbin is the director of the Institute of Sports, Media, and Society at USC.
Sports gambling is a $150 billion a year industry, and to say that it is illegal misses the fact that it is an industry. Sports gambling goes on across the country.
The Supreme Court took up the case after New Jersey passed its own law legalizing sports betting. That law was opposed by all 4 professional sports leagues and the NCAA.
The concern that has been stated by the leagues, especially the NFL, is that this could lead to people questioning the integrity of the league. To say that gambling is somehow going to hurt the game is a bit disingenuous when they're already taking money indirectly from gambling. They get a significant amount of money through broadcasts that are sponsored by DraftKings and other fantasy sports.
In order for sports betting to be legal in California, legislators would have to pass a law and then send it to voters for approval.
You can't make it go away. People will always do it. So it's better to be on top of it, I guess.
And state legislators say right now here in California annually about $1.5 to $2 billion is spent each year on illegal sports betting. Reporting live just outside Staples Center, I'm Tom Waite. Back to you, Pat.
All right, thank you, Tom. Breakdancing while breaking the law. That is what security video shows during a Fresno business break-in. Police say he somehow got the keys to get into the office building, but he will have to work on the moves behind bars because he has been arrested. Not so smooth criminal. Anyway,
no, that'll go over big in the prison laundry.
Yeah,
Or
doing the pop locking in prison there in the laundry room.
Folding sheets and stuff.
Yes.
I guess they don't make license plates, yes.
Did I hear you say drizzle?
Yeah, I think so, Pat. We'll see how much we get tomorrow morning. Remember, this morning it wasn't as organized, but I certainly think as we get through the next couple of days, and particularly on Wednesday, we'll see even a better opportunity. So we'll see. Although, Pat, by the foothills tomorrow, we could see some ring out. So just a heads up for everybody, like it was over the weekend. We're starting to go back that pattern just for about 48 hours. Out towards Long Beach we go. Temperature-wise now, things are doing pretty well for us. Let's get to it. Cooling off quickly here, 60 degrees, winds are calm. Beautiful shot of downtown. Winds are calm right now, so that's a nice thing downtown. Everything's pretty still right now. A little chilly out there, 59 Sherman Oaks, 61 San Bernardino, and 61 right now into Costa Mesa. Made it up to 72 today, couple of degrees below normal. So a few things going on. This low pressure area, that's the one that really kept things damp over the weekend. Another one on the heels of it's going to start to move in. This is the one, Pat, that'll bring us a better opportunity, I think, for some drizzle, maybe even some light sprinkles as well, as we really start to thicken the marine layer up. It begins tomorrow, gets more so in earnest as we start to make our way in through Wednesday. You can see quite a bit of rain just up to the north, and then there's some offshore, so it kind of whips its way through here, but it's really involved with the lifting mechanism and a lot of overcast in the morning hours. So we fall right back into our May pattern before we start to make ourselves towards the weekend. Now, once we get rid of the second low, which will take roughly Thursday into Friday, way out into the Pacific, you can see some high pressure. This low right now sits about 800 miles offshore. It'll start to move through the area. The high will begin to make its way towards us as we get just in time for the weekend. And that should produce some really nice temperatures. Nothing crazy, just pretty much back to normal, but I think we'll really start to thin the marine layer out. That'll make things feel much nicer. But tomorrow, Ventura 68, roughly around there for the most spots. 65 Surf City, 78 up into Palmdale. We'll get a little wind action too. I'm not seeing any wind advisories yet, but that's a possibility coming up. Take a look at the 7-day. The beaches tomorrow through Thursday into the mid 60s. We'll come up a little bit, thin the marine layer as we get get to the weekend. Downtown will slowly pop on Friday, but the Valley's tomorrow 74, down a little on Wednesday. That's the day we could stay socked in around here. There's a look for the high deserts, in for the Inland Empire, and for the mountains as well. So if you're going to wash the car, I'd probably wait 1 or 2 days just because, you know, you get that spritzing on it. It's not good. All right, you guys, have a good evening.
All right, thank you, Gareth. The Disneyland Resort is hosting Pixar Fest. Be sure to watch CBS2 News from 4:30 to 7 tomorrow morning, and we'll reveal your secret code word so you can enter to win a 4-pack of tickets. Now, would you pay $59 for a smoothie? See what's in the local high-priced drink. That's still ahead. Plus another court appearance by the alleged Golden State Killer, but there is a big difference this time. Also, the Angels host the World Series champs, and Jim Hill has all the details later in sports. And here's a look at the guests tonight on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.